You don't need 1,000 horsepower. You don't need to do crazy rear mount radiator tube chassis setups. You don't need a completely gutted out car with manual brakes and all this weight reduction. You hear a lot about people talking about like, why don't waste your time building an overbuilt crazy drift car. Just do something basic and drive. It's far more important. So is there a point to doing something like this if you're not competing on a pro level? Let's talk about it. Well, for starters, my first drift car that I had was an '83 Celica Supra with a Turbo 5M in it. And that thing was incredibly basic. It had a super shitty angle kit on it, cut springs, a turbo kit, which didn't make too much power. And honestly, it was one of the most fun cars I ever drove. It was also one of the cheapest. I had total probably about $2,000 into that car, parts and vehicle included. And it was one of the most fun vehicles I ever had. It was incredibly difficult to drive, but that kind of made it fun. Now, like I said, there's a lot of people online that say, don't waste your time. You see too many dudes that just build these crazy cars and then, they dump all their money into them and then they go out for one day, they wreck their car and then they're done. And, it's just a big waste of money and you don't get any seat time. But is there any other benefits to actually building something like this? Well, depending on who you are, there are a lot of benefits to actually building a car like this one, where you do over-the-top stuff and you overbuild it, and you're building 1,000 horsepower, like basically building a pro-level car. There are a lot of benefits to that, and honestly, almost none of them come down to when you're actually on the track. I know that probably sounds crazy, but stick with me. First of all, one thing that a lot of people that say stuff like that probably completely overlook and don't even think about is, a lot of people actually just enjoy building cars. It's fun to them. It lets them be creative. It lets them learn new skills. And when it came to building this for me, that's more of what it was about for me. It was, I enjoy building cars. I enjoy doing fabrication, and it's fun. I really enjoy doing it. So I don't look at it as a waste of time and money. Not to mention, doing stuff like this and, teaching myself new skills where I need to learn them, it helps develop, the skills that I now have that I use in my career of being a mechanic and fabricator. I wouldn't be where I am today if I just paid somebody else to do this or never took the risks and went out and actually learned how to do this stuff. I wouldn't have the skills I have. I wouldn't have the job I have. So stuff like that is, if you build a car like this and you learn all those skills, even if you say you wreck the car, you still have all those skills that you learned and developed. Now, I do agree that if your main goal is just to go out and drive and have fun, then no, you don't need to build something like this. You'll be fine with, a 300 horsepower SR powered 240 or something like that. You can go out and have fun and drive, and you don't need to build something like this. And to be 100% honest, if you're building something like this just to go out and think that it's gonna give you a competitive edge just because of the car you built, you're in for a heartbreak, because there's guys out there that are just absolute shredders with cars that'll be 1/10 of what you have into your car. And, that'll be a real heartbreak. So if that's what you're building it for, get ready for that. But if you're building it for yourself and, to develop skills and just because you enjoy actually building cars, then it is absolutely worth it. Just in the skill set alone that you can develop from building something like this and the things that you learn. Like, for example, I didn't know shit about suspension design and how to design a proper suspension system until I had to make my own angle kit for my GTO back in the day. And then I started reading and learning all about suspension setups and, you know, how the geometry should be, and all, just you learn so much stuff, and then you apply it to something. And then, you know, that's new knowledge that you have from doing something like this. And then you can apply that in the future. And then, you know, if you want to make parts and sell stuff and make a little extra money off this new skill set that you've learned, you know, it's worth it, and it can pay for itself. You know, that's one reason why I wasn't really bummed out when I totaled my GTO, is because, you know, I bought that car brand new for about 30 grand, and then I probably had about another 20 to 30 grand into it. But from building that car, I designed all these new parts for the GTO that didn't exist, and all those parts that I designed basically paid for everything that I had into the car by the time I was done. So, I mean, the way I looked at it, I wasn't really out much, and I was over the car anyways. But it's, you know, it's more about what you're learning than what you have in the end, in my opinion. So if you want to build something, you know, crazy, overbuilt, you know, just go for it. Just do it. If you want a car just to go hit the track on and get seat time, though, it might not be the best route for you. You probably would be better off just getting, you know, a low budget car, and, you know, something you can get the seat time in. So in that sense, I do agree. If you're just trying to get out there and go to the track and drive, it's not really the greatest decision. And you know, it'll break your bank, and then the first time you wreck, you know, you're probably going to throw in the towel. But, you know, if you're building it because you like building stuff, then it's totally worth it. Anyways, I just wanted to make a quick little video about that, just because I see that debate going on all the time about people saying, stop building cars like this for drifting. It's dumb. It's a waste of money. And I just wanted to give you my opinion on it, and how I feel, and, you know, kind of why I decided to do this. So that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to have a couple more videos coming out this week because I've got some material. I got my welder all filled up and ready to go. So got some work ahead of us. So I'm going to get some good videos out this week. But anyways, that's it for this one. So like the video if you liked it. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about building cars like this, what your opinion is. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and follow the build along. And I will catch you guys later.